You're going to judge me, but it's fine. I'm used to that.
Always. Welcome to 5-3 Podcast. I'm Doria, joined by my former coworker turned co-host, Brittany.
Hi.
Hey, Brittany. How are you? Episode 11.
Wow. Time flies. 11.
I know. Can you believe it? It did. It went by really fast. But how are you doing? Oh, boy.
I'm here.
I accept that. I feel comparably here. Just
Am
a
I
lot
here,
going
though?
on. I mean, we're recording, so there's some semblance of here.
What is, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited because today we are going to talk about a show that everybody's talking about, White Lotus, specifically season 3, although obviously we'll compare it to past seasons. But I'm excited to dive in. I feel like the entire internet is talking about this show now, and I understand why. Yeah, I was going to say totally valid, but let's dive into it. Where do we want to start? How would you rank the 3 seasons that have been put out, like 1 to 3?
Ooh.
Stack rank.
Good question. I don't know. Let me think about that. 1 was great. 1 was Maui. 2 was Italy. 3 was Thailand. I'm probably going to go with Maui as my number 1. Kind of sets the stage, like phenomenally done.
Yep.
Then Thailand, and then kind of end it with it. They're all so good, though. It's hard to actually put them in some kind of order, but that's what I'd probably go with.
Interesting. Okay.
How would you do it?
That's a tough one. I would say I'm caught between 1 or 2 being my top, because obviously 1 is so iconic because it was the first season.
First one.
And I mean, Jennifer Coolidge, like, holy shit.
We love her.
She can do no wrong on that show, in my opinion. Okay, if I absolutely had to, I would say probably 2, season 2, then 1, then 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, people were very hit or miss with 3. People were either all in. But
yeah.
See, I liked 3 because it just...
Okay.
We'll dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah. What did you think about the location? Because, okay, I have thoughts about them picking Thailand specifically.
Well, they were talking about filming in Japan originally, right? And then
I don't see that happening. Yeah.
Well, they were like ready to go. They were in deep negotiations, but Thailand gave them a production credit, a massive production credit. And Japan couldn't do that. Their team at the 4 Seasons out there, or their tourism board, was very unhappy about it. There's some really interesting news articles where they were like, we can't do this. Like, there's no way we can match what Thailand is doing.
Yeah. Okay. So when I heard about the whole Japan thing, I was like, there's no world it's going to happen. And for a few reasons, one of which is I don't think Japan aligns with the White Lotus brand, because Japan is such a respectful country and they want to be so respectable that some of the themes, like that season 3 plot line in Japan, would not have played. No. Like, it absolutely would have been, in my opinion, I think it would have been viewed as shameful. And like, where in Japan would they have put it? Would they put it on an island off the coast? Would they put it on the main, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't think it was ever going to land there. And I honestly would have had a hard time probably watching it if they did put it there. I don't think it would have done as well. But did you like it in Thailand? Did you think that was like a good choice? Would you have picked someplace else?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I think they've done a good job of bouncing around the globe. You had your US base, you had Europe, now you have Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I kind of wished, if I'm being honest and very critical, I felt like it was like low-hanging fruit. Of course you're going to pick, like, that's such a touristy destination. Have you been to Thailand?
No, actually.
Okay. So a lot of people who've been to Southeast Asia go through Thailand at some point. Thailand, Singapore. Like, I feel like they should have picked someplace in like Malaysia or Vietnam or like, I don't know, Cambodia. Like, it would have been more interesting to me had they picked a less touristy destination, because so many people have been to Thailand, to Bangkok.
But that's kind of the whole point, though, is they pick touristy destinations because it's rich people on vacation in touristy locations. And it's the 4 Seasons.
Sure.
Like, they have a partnership. They have to go where the 4 Seasons is, right?
Yeah, but they're everywhere. I don't know. I just feel like that when we think about like, what is the epitome of Southeast Asia? What's the epitome of Europe? What's like, whatever. There are certain countries that like people just know because they've been so good at pushing their tourism. And to me, Bangkok, specifically Bangkok, right? Like if they had done like Chiang Mai or someplace north, I would have been like, okay, valid, right? I don't know. To me, it felt a little bit like, eh. Why not? Like it's really well known. It's touristy. People are gonna recognize it. I don't know. But I think it played well on the
Yeah, for
show.
sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, that resort, honestly, it brings me back to so many resorts in Southeast Asia in particular. They are stunning. They're gorgeous. They really look like that. The hospitality is on point. So,
Yeah.
it makes sense. But what did you think about Pat Schwarzenegger being in the show?
I think he crushed it, to be honest. I think he did incredibly well. I didn't realize it was him. The last time I had seen him, he was on Shark Tank pitching his little protein bar with his mom.
I did not know. Okay, I did not know it was him until about halfway through when I saw a news article on it, some headline. I was like, oh my gosh. I think he did a good job. I think it's very well cast. I think they do a really good job of casting every season, no matter what.
Yeah.
I do miss Jennifer.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
She was great.
She makes it, honestly, to me, because she was such a strong character in the first and second season, it almost feels like when you have a series of movies and then a character dies and they keep going, you're like, why? Bring her back.
That's
she didn't
true.
die after all.
But the funny thing, her memory lived on, and it lived on long enough for Belinda to do to this poor man what Tanya did to her. Sure, let's start a business. We can do that. Oops, just kidding. I had a change of heart.
Masterfully done. Masterfully done. Like that full circle moment. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but loved that. So good. The scene when they're all coming in, right, on the boat where you like see all the characters and like how they play out. Did you have a suspicion on who everybody was going to be essentially to the show? Like what role they were going to fulfill?
Initially, no, but I mean, you had a lot of the foreshadowing when you look at the kids when they were sitting along the bench with the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil kind of thing.
Yep.
That was cute. And I love the dichotomy of that compared to the final scene where you just see the big transformation between all of them, like Lachlan specifically.
Yeah.
I like broke that one down to someone the other day. I'm like, oh, no. Let me explain to you why this is incredibly significant. And we can dig more into that. But I don't think I had any ideas to who was going to be kind of the main character. I thought it was just like, okay, here are these different groups. Yeah.
The three friends I thought were really interesting because I do think they captured the essence of one, a tripod of friends. In women, like you always pair off, right? There's always somebody who's kind of like in, but kind of on the outskirts. And I thought they did that really well. I thought they did the whole like the frenemy of it all that can come into friendships as well, where you like love but hate that person, but you're jealous, but you're proud of them at the same time. I thought that was super interesting the way they played them off of each other.
Oh, 100%. I've also gone on 3 people trips.
Yep. Yeah. No, you need even numbers. I'm sorry.
You absolutely do. Like, no, absolutely not. Even groups of 5 can get really weird because you still have 2, and then 1. Like, odd numbers just don't work. I've had 1 successful 3-person trip, and outside of that, it's just like, no, never again. I had a good friend who I would travel with, and we both swore we would never do it again. We're like, we just need each other.
Yeah, 100%. Who was your favorite character
of this season?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just talking about this, and so favorite versus who I relate to the most are going to be very different. Sort of. Well, maybe not. So I loved Carrie Coon. I think she was fantastic. Her speech at the end was just, oh my, like, I think that touched so many people. And as someone who is single, never married, no kids, getting older, like, I've had to justify a lot of my decisions when everyone else is doing all of these things. And I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
In the field.
Just happy to be at the table.
Exactly.
Was, I think, profound for so many people in so many ways. Yeah.
It just, that one I was in my feels. But even the like kind of feeling like an outsider, feeling like these 100%. Are my friends, but I'm kind of on the outs. Like I feel like that constantly. And I love my friends. They would never ever say anything to make me feel like that by any means. They're amazing humans.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you yourself can get in your head and feel like you are that outsider. And then you kind of just exhibit those behaviors and tend to self-isolate. When she watched her 2 friends in the pool and she just stayed back and observed, I'm like, you were making the decision to not engage with that. Like, you're perpetuating all of these things that you think are happening when there's really nothing there, right? So I thought that was incredibly relatable. I think we all do it at some point or another.
Yeah.
But the one I loved the most was Chelsea, man. She was just, she was a beacon of light and kindness. Like, she made good decisions.
Yep. Did you watch her gosh, what is her name?
Amy
Amy
Lou
Lou
Wood.
Wood. So she was in Sex Education, which was,
Hmm.
oh gosh, such a good show. If you've never watched it,
Mm-mm.
watch it. So it's a British show. So, so good. I believe it was launched on Netflix for us in the US. I don't know if it was originally. I think it was there too. I think it was a Netflix show.
Mhm.
It's phenomenal. But she
Yeah.
was on that show. So I was familiar with her from that, which started years ago. I thought she had a great character. She's funny. She's definitely added a lot of dimension to the show where a lot of people were kind of dark or struggling or like deep in their depression or whatever it was, or like the dad who's like literally having like a panic attack the entire trip and
Yeah.
self-medicating. I loved her character. I thought it was really, really well done on
Mhm.
her part. I would say she's my favorite.
Yeah. I
I don't
think
know if
we
I relate to
like.
any of them though.
Yeah. I knew she was gonna die. I
Oh,
mean,
the second someone says I love you or we're in this together forever, you know that forever is about 2
yeah.
seconds away. Like
Oh. Well, she
it's
was
not
just
lasting.
she was too sweet. She was too pure. Her heart
Yeah.
was too pure. And this entire season felt like there were so many kind of battles with morals and
Yep.
ethics and dilemmas, and
Yep.
she had the fewest amount of them.
Mhm.
And it's just like anyone that had, and I think they did this really well. People
Mhm.
that had strong ethics, strong sense of self, like were just
Yeah.
good people, didn't make it, which is part of why
Of
Lachlan
course.
had his experience with his little.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that dirty ass blender.
Oh,
Um,
oh, oh,
but
yes.
yeah,
Let's talk about that cuz like what the
yeah,
heck?
yeah. But
But yeah.
essentially, it was the death of innocence, right? Like
a
Chelsea was an innocent, good
100%.
person, and Lachlan's innocent version of himself
Right.
died alongside the pool that day.
I feel like we have to talk about the brother situation.
Ugh.
I am so not a fan of incest being used as a plot in
Yeah,
any show. It doesn't play well for me. I don't like it.
I don't
I
think
was
anyone did. I think a lot of us were like, "What the heck just
agreed.
happened?"
For sure. But they really
Yeah,
obviously built up to it. So it wasn't a surprise that it happened. It's just you sit there and you're like, please don't, please don't, please don't. And then they're like,
yep,
yep, we're doing it. I actually almost stopped watching at that point because I'm like, if we're gonna keep going with this, like, I'm actually
yeah,
not interested in continuing on this journey. Thankfully, like, it's over
yeah,
after that. But I don't think it was necessary. I'm gonna be really honest. I could have
yeah,
done without that completely. Like, it would have been totally fine to me if that was never a part of any of
yeah.
it, and we still had the rest of it. It was complicated enough already.
It was, yeah.
Like,
I didn't need that.
yeah, you can be a people pleaser without that.
Yeah,
Like, and I got they were trying to,
mhm,
demonstrate a lot of different things with that, but no, thank you. I
yeah.
really didn't like the girlfriend. I'm so bad with names. What was her name? The French Canadian one who's
Oh,
with Gary Glenn.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did not like her at
I don't
all.
know why I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either, but I did not like her. I didn't find her character to be that interesting. Chloe.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah, I didn't find her to be a great character, to be honest. Like, I think she played the character well, but it was like, meh. Oh, you know who was actually, in my opinion, one of the best characters just in terms of like their portrayal of the actual character?
oh, Parker Posey.
Parker Posey. Holy shit. So
Love her.
good. Like, don't get me wrong, she can play the most eccentric characters in like every spectrum.
Yeah,
Phenomenal. I've seen so many people quoting her, so many memes of her character. So good.
she is.
So good.
Uh,
I loved her character.
can you do a Parker Posey impression?
I'm too northern to be able to do it. No, I'd have to really draw out my vowels, and I can't.
You
We're too
can't say Buddhism.
booed. Okay.
Tsunami.
No, no, we don't have the rounded vowels up here. We're too like staccato. I can't. But I appreciate how much she really like played that character.
She
Such
committed.
she committed. She did great. I loved it. Okay, Frank. Holy crap, Frank. Like, I am an addict and I can't go from 0 to 20. I've got to go 0 to 100.
That
Yes.
was
Like, he
he.
committed, but he was also a
Yeah.
ride or die friend, which I appreciated. Did you know that what's his face was going to be Rick's dad?
Oh yeah,
That
100%.
was so obvious from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It was like, buddy, you're about to kill your father. Like,
Oh
hello.
yeah. As soon as he got there, I was like, hold on. And I like analyzed this from the very beginning. I'm like,
Hmm.
he's there for his dad.
Oh,
And
100%.
like guaranteed abandoned him. Like, that's his dad. He just doesn't know it.
Just doesn't know it. 100%. 100%. I don't know. I also feel like the other standout character is the guy who played the guard. Everybody
Oh,
is talking about him. Oh my
whew.
gosh. For good reason. Yeah, yeah.
Hold
Oh my
on,
god.
my.
No
Whew.
diggity. Like his cover take me back to the late 90s, early 2000s.
I just watched an interview with him. His voice is so smooth and
Oh,
so
it's so good.
sensual.
Yeah,
I'm
it's so
like,
good. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
Do you need to detain me? I've been very naughty.
Stop me at the gate.
Oops.
I
I committed the robbery.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Arrest me, good sir.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, like, it's interesting to me. One of the things they didn't show, and I'm trying to remember when we were in Thailand. So it's very common in Southeast Asia when you go to a resort to not just have someone at the gate, obviously, like look over your vehicle, but they'll actually take out like mirrors and look underneath
Yeah.
for explosives and things like that. They didn't show that, which I thought was interesting, and maybe they just don't do it there. But as someone who's been there, I was kind of like, oh, weird. They have like this very quick in and out, situation going. He was so nice.
I don't think we saw a regular car go through there though.
I thought
We only saw the people that blew through it for the robbery, while Valentine was distracting him, and then otherwise everyone else got there by boat and they walked everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. When the car was going through, like typically there would be more than one guard. Obviously, there'd be like a couple of them there and all that. But Valentine was trash. I think it was obvious he was trash from like day one.
He looked like garbage. Like he looked like a sleazy man.
He did. And the way that he played off of the three friends was very obvious. It just wasn't good. It was very interesting, the stereotypes that they brought out in the show at every single level. Like the tourists coming in, the people who are there who are working, the three friends, the family from, clearly the South. Where were they from? The Carolinas? I can't even remember.
North Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's interesting. I did have a little bit of a hard time with the level at which the dad was self-medicating. It felt a little 0 to 60 for me.
Well, he was scared. He was panicked.
Yeah, but I feel like he's got to be in the show. He probably plays someone in his early 50s, right?
No, he's definitely older than his 50s.
You think he's supposed to be older than his 50s in the show?
I think so. I think he's late 50s.
Okay, I could give him late 50s. But if you think about, like, clearly his wife medicates, to get through the day. Like, it was not unobvious that was, like, her way of life. But I feel like if you've lived with a partner who is medicated for that long and you've never been someone who did it, I don't know, overnight due to stress, would you suddenly start, like, literally stealing her lorazepam and
he was
downing it?
Yeah, he had never taken it. It helped him take the edge off while he was there, knowing he was being investigated by federal authorities. Like, how else was he going to get by? His brain was going to eat him alive.
I don't disagree with that, but the amount he was taking for someone who has never taken any sort of anti-anxiety.
He was only taking like 2.
Brittany, that would knock me on my ass.
2 lorazepam?
I can't take 1.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you don't know the dosage. They could have easily been like 0.5 milligrams.
Yeah, I can't. And
if it was the dosage his wife was, if it was double what his wife was taking, he's like twice her size.
Well, I think she had built up a little bit of a tolerance.
That's a fair point.
I think she was good. But I mean, and also for her to go cold turkey without it, like, let's be serious, her anxiety would have been through the roof because her baseline would have been so different naturally. So I don't know. That was interesting that they kind of just like let that play out where she was like, oh, I lost my lorazepam. Oh, well. She didn't have a cocktail in her hand every minute or something else like ease
she
the
said
pain.
she would. She said, I'm going to have to drink myself to sleep.
But she didn't. That was what was crazy to me. I don't know. It wasn't a part of her thing.
She wanted to see her withdrawal, just like.
I mean, I wanted to be a little accurate with that. Like, let's be serious. If you medicate every day with alcohol and pills, like, you're probably not going to feel great when you don't have them.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. I didn't like Mook. Can I be honest? I didn't like her.
Oh, no, I don't.
Did people? I actually didn't.
I don't think anyone did.
Okay. I didn't know if they were trying to make her likable or not to some degree. I found her incredibly unlikable.
So there's 2 sides of it. And 2 ways of looking at her. I personally didn't like her. I think she comes off as someone who was very much, she only wanted him when he was going to do all these big things and be super successful.
Yep.
Which anytime he wasn't doing that, it is what it is. Like, he gave up his morals and his ethics for her, not even himself. Right. He did that for her. But on the other side of that, it has been argued that she just wanted someone who was ambitious and wanted more for themselves than just being a basic security guard, essentially. She wanted someone who was going to do more than just kind of be content, which I can also understand. You don't want someone who is rolling through life super content. I think I've said that to people I've dated, and that is awkward to admit. But also...
Oh, no, I totally... As someone who is very driven, I have absolutely been very honest with partners in the past about how I need them to match my energy, or I start to get frustrated. But she seemed to me more of an opportunist than just, "Hey, I want us to be motivated. Like, I want us to want
Yeah.
more for ourselves." It felt like she love bombed when she was happy with him and pulled away and withdrew when she wasn't. And to me, it just
Yeah.
came off as so manipulative and just gross. I didn't like her
Yeah.
character.
100%. But she sure liked his new job.
She did. She did. I don't know. I found it interesting they had Rick actually go to the home of the owner of the White Lotus, who obviously is married to what we find out is his dad, and that there weren't more checks and balances for them to get into that home. Like, he had a gun hidden on him. I
Yeah.
don't feel like that would have gotten by.
Well, they had their security guards there just chilling outside in case anything went sideways.
I feel like they would have been patted down. Like, there's enough wealth in that home with that family that I think they would have been more careful. I don't think he would have gotten away with it. I don't know. It felt a little odd to me that he was able to sneak in, because what are they going to do? They're going to come in after he shoots him?
Yeah,
That's
but
nice.
how many times have you gone to someone's house and they're like, "All right, let me pat you."
Bangkok has a different vibe. I'm going to be honest. Like, Bangkok is exactly like what you see in a lot of movies and shows, and like, it's a fun place to be, but there is absolutely an element of danger. I did find it a little bit interesting that they had the friend walk home from, having her one night stand by herself in the streets of Bangkok.
Well,
Absolutely no.
well, no, like that's kind of it adds to the suspense. And I think that was very intentional because she escaped one dangerous situation, ran to another one, but then had the taxi pick her up, so she was immediately safe. Like she had to sprint out of there. Where else would she go? She was running away from this girl who was about to beat her ass after hooking up with her man.
It's not that easy to get a taxi in Bangkok. Like, maybe that's what it is. It's my
She wasn't
bias
in
from
Bangkok.
having. I thought the fight was in Bangkok.
I don't think so because Rick went to Bangkok. He had to leave wherever they were. They were I forgot where they were. They were somewhere else in Thailand. Because that's why Rick took a flight.
In Bangkok.
Rick took a flight to go to Bangkok to meet the family and all of that. So it was in town. It was wherever that town is that they were all staying at.
Okay, so it's a village nearby, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more believable, because I'm like, it's actually very hard to get a taxi in Bangkok after a certain hour. I have a horrible story about like some crazy shit a hotel did to us once. But like, there's a surcharge too, if you can even get one. But okay, that makes more sense. I don't know. That one night stay, like, I get she was throwing caution to the wind, but she was really throwing a lot of caution to the wind by going with him at that point. And I think part of it was she had something to prove, obviously.
Yeah.
But oof, I don't know. The girlfriend coming in was funny. Like, that guy was obviously shady from the beginning.
Do you have money? My mom is dying. Venmo, Cash App.
I take Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. I was like, oh my God, not Zelle, not Zelle.
I feel like I'm going to do that on the next date I go on. Just be like, I have a really sick family member back home in not Los Angeles. Can you send me $10,000? I accept Venmo,
Just
Cash App,
$10,000.
a tiny 10,000. It would help me.
This is like a social experiment to see how people respond to that.
Well, so it was a trend for a while to have people send you pizzas. Did you hear about this?
What?
Yeah.
From
this
where?
was a while ago. So it was like, Tinder. This was like, it had to have been 10 years ago because I definitely was not in my life. It was before my last relationship. Yeah. People were updating their Tinder profiles to say, like, instead of swiping, send me a pizza. And so dudes were
giving out their addresses, or like.
Yeah. Dudes were sending pizzas to people's houses.
No.
Well, we know. Hello, if you listen to last week's episode, you know that's a terrible hell no.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, people weren't really thinking about the risk involved with that.
I'm horrified.
Yeah, no. It's just like the pizza thing was real. There's also this woman who, low-key brilliant, but also very dangerous, updated her Hinge profile that was like, what I'm looking for, someone to help me fix my flat tire on the side of the road. Here are my coordinates. First one here, I'll buy a drink. And people multiple dudes showed up to help her. And they were like, we don't want to drink. Like, we just want to help you. It was strangely heartwarming, very dangerous. Because
very dangerous.
That's like, I'm abductable. But yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, I am absolutely not. No, thank you. What did you think about Piper, the daughter?
Piper.
No. Yeah. Oh my God.
God, I had fun breaking her character down the other day. She was always that person, and the mom knew it. The mom knew her daughter so well. That's why when she took the tour, she's like, if you stay here for a night, by all means, I'll support you. Yeah. Because she knew it. But it's very much the I don't want to be like my mother kind of thing. Reminded me of me in high school. my mom had gone to a specific college, and I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not doing any of that. I'm my own person.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, that would have been a really good school to go to. Why didn't I do that? My brother's going there now, and I'm like, shit, I should have done that. I have regrets. It's fine. But
don't we all?
Right. But even the evolution in her style and how she went from like very modest, very covered, very like, to just bright colors, very like over the top, like a little bit more risque. Her arc was frustrating.
I also see it, and maybe it's just the bias and the association from being Asian, but I also see some of it being that attitude of like, I respect and I like this religion that is not my own. I want to be a part of it. I want to believe that I encompass these values and also whatever persona they perceive in that, and appropriate that to a degree. Not that you can't be Buddhist and be white. There are plenty of white Buddhists out there. But as someone who did grow up with a Buddhist parent, it's so interesting to me that for her, it was like, I'm going to trick my family to going to this 5-star resort so that I can get close to this monastery where I want to go and spend a year to tell myself and convince myself that I'm a better person than I know I am. And clearly that didn't work out for her. It was so interesting to me when she condemned Lachlan when he was like, because he could have done it. I believe he could have stayed there for a year.
100%.
For sure. And I think she knew that. And I think she was very threatened by that. And I think they played that out, which was fascinating. But yeah, her character was unlikable to me.
Well, the line, I'm not going to be responsible for you ruining your life.
Yep.
It meant that her being there also was her ruining her life.
For sure.
And it just...
For sure.
Lachlan. Can we talk about Lachlan now?
Yeah, let's talk about Lachlan.
That dirty-ass blender.
Oh, okay. If your parent told you that something was off, like milk, coconut milk, whatever, and then, first of all, the fact that he left it there, clearly he wasn't thinking, which sure, fine. Yeah, makes sense. He's under a lot of stress and pressure, and he was just going to poison his whole family, right? But the fact that he's like, nah, this chunky crap in the bottom makes sense to add to my protein smoothie.
So he was interviewed, and someone asked him about it. I think it was Jimmy Fallon. They're like, why didn't you wash the blender?
Why wouldn't you rinse it?
And he said, oh, well, the character thought that his brother had made a protein smoothie, and that was just like leftover protein. No. And I was like, absolutely not. No. Like, you don't know how long it's been sitting there. There are bugs flying around. Like,
he smelled it. You would have, like, coconut has a very distinct smell.
Yeah.
And so does rum, right? Like, it would be pretty, and pineapple. Like, you would have known it was not. That's not what happened at all. If they actually think that we believe that, that's crazy. You cannot look at that chunky mess that looked just like it did the night before, which he looked at, by the way, when he went over and like, he knew. But also, like, can you imagine how chunky that would have been? Oh. I argue that blender could not have pulverized those seeds as well as, like,
that wasn't a Vitamix. That was like a standard Oster blender. That thing, I don't even think it was a Ninja. That thing was so basic. Like, a Vitamix would have trouble doing that.
100%. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It was interesting. The dad was just a hot mess. Okay, what did you think of the full frontal nudity? Because that got a lot of responses.
Really?
Yes. Oh, there's a whole group of people who were like super offended by it. And actually the actor who plays the dad, what is his name? Jason Isaacs. So Jason Isaacs actually talks about people's response to that. And he's like, I don't understand why people are so offended, because if a woman does, full frontal, like, it's not this, massive offensive thing. And I think he made some comments and people actually took it very poorly, because I think he was comparing himself to like some female actresses, and they're like, no, back it up.
Yeah.
Valid. But people had really strong visceral reactions to his full frontal scene.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
I feel like we've seen, maybe it's because we're the generation that grew up with like American Pie and all of like the shock value, very, very sex focused humor, where it's just like,
okay. Yeah, it's like a surprise dong. Like, what?
Right.
It's not that alarming.
And people were also freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, was that actually him? Blah, blah. And they're like, no, it's a prosthetic. It's always a prosthetic, people. It is always a prosthetic. But I think people were like, but he's the Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Harry Potter?
He's Malfoy's dad.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. That's why people were like, how dare you?
Okay, but you can't like hold that like,
no,
come on.
No. no, absolutely. Piper, no. No, 100% not. But people had like big reactions. He also got into a little bit of trouble, not trouble per se, but it kind of added to some of the drama. I don't know if you've been reading up on it since they filmed and since the season ended, where he said, they say in the show what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand, but there's an off screen White Lotus as well with fewer deaths, but just as much drama. And he talked about how filming White Lotus, because you're so separate from the world for a period of time, was pretty much like summer camp, and that some relationships formed, some relationships broke, which also leads to the whole thing with Walter Goggins and Amy Lee Wood.
Yeah.
So they were close during filming, supposedly, and it seemed like they were on social media. A few weeks ago, Redditors posted that they had noticed that they were no longer following each other. They speculate that Goggins blocked Wood because her comments are missing on his Instagram, but his are still on hers. And so whatever happened, they think one of them blocked the other. People speculate why, but apparently that's all over cyberspace.
Where they just posted about each other and like how great the characters were and everything like a day ago.
So they posted about, what was it? Their deaths. Like it was a tribute to like their deaths or whatever. They did not tag one another. They've been posting other tributes to the show while tagging other co-stars, but not tagging each other.
I swear that I'm going to check this.
Check it. People have pointed out that they never did any press for the show together, at least after a certain point, but they said very nice things about each other when asked about each other. But it's been very bizarre because, again, they're not following each other. They're not tagging each other. Something somewhere broke. And at one point, he actually said, what did he say? He was like, we're a form of soulmates. We had to be close because, you know, they wanted to form that bond, that relationship to really allow it to shine in the show. But something happened.
He thanked a photographer. No.
Yep. This is a big like White Lotus drama theme right now. It's what happened between them.
No. Yeah. This is. I'm still digging. I'll be done in a second.
But yeah, I wonder, again, there's a lot of speculation as to why. Who knows? I think a lot of people probably wonder if there was some sort of romance between the two of them and it soured, because that's low-hanging fruit, right?
So did you read that interview with Walter Goggins about how him being back in Thailand was a really big deal for him?
No.
So he lost his wife when he was 36. And so it was a really heavy time for him. And he went to Thailand and stayed at, I think, that resort.
Oh my gosh, really?
It was either that resort or one that like where they stayed at.
Yeah.
So apparently when they were starting to film, they were pulling up on the boat. He saw the hotel room where he had stayed after he had lost his wife, and he was grieving and just really upset by it. And so for things to come full circle for him, he thought was just this phenomenal, just kind of big moment for him to go through this journey of healing and just kind of growth, essentially.
Yeah. That's, first of all, devastating and sad. I don't know why, whenever I think about casts that go through a lot during filming, my mind always goes back to the Wizard of Oz and how grueling they say it was for her to film it. And like all of the stuff, like you end up with this beautiful movie at the end, but there's almost all of this like dark insidious shit that goes into filming it, right? And to me, some of these shows, and it seems like this one, have that same thing where like in order to create this level of art, there's a lot that goes into it that is probably not as lighthearted and fun as we'd want it to be. And it plays well on camera, but
that makes me so sad because I love their chemistry together.
They were super cute. I mean, I don't want them together in real life per se. I don't think they...
Is she dating? Are they dating anyone? Is he married?
I don't know. I mean, she's much younger than he is. Not that they couldn't be together, but
hold on.
I would think that she has like a... Yeah. Hold on. Instagram, see if she has a partner in Europe somewhere.
I'm like, hold on, I gotta lurk. Like, you know, I love to lurk.
I live for it. Do it. You know who I really dislike? Greg/Gary. I didn't like him in the first season he was in.
You're not supposed to.
But I actually don't even find him to be a fascinating character, or I don't know. Like, to me, he's not a great villain because he's just so deadpan. Always. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like him. I could have done without him entirely. I honestly didn't even love that plot line. It just kind of felt like, why? Why is he here? Why is he silently sitting, staring at people? No.
So I think that was kind of part of it, though, was like, okay, there's no sign of anything that I'm finding, by the way. I'm so weird. I need to keep digging. I don't trust any of this.
TBD.
Everything is TBD for me. You're not supposed to like Gary's supposed to be incredibly unlikable from the very first season, right? Like, you don't like him, you don't understand him. I don't understand his fetish and just the creepy lingering. Also, how do you send a $5 million transfer and just like no one bats an eyelash?
Not only that, but like, okay, let's talk about the fact it was to a U.S. bank. First of all, we all know if you transfer a large sum of money, it gets held. Like, you can't just, it's not in the blink of an eye.
AML is a thing.
100%. Second of all, if you deposit that much money into a U.S. bank, it's actually going to get flagged. Like, you're going to have to report out on it, whether it's a gift or not. Also, why would you put it in your personal bank? I feel like my butt would have been like opening up a account. Exactly. I would have been like, hey, Cayman Islands, how do I open up an account with $5? I might have a big transfer coming your way. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm absolutely not like, okay, so I'm at Bank of America. This is my routing number and my like, no, absolutely not. This is my local, credit union. Send it there. Meanwhile, they're like, holy shit, $5 million. That was not believable to me. I hated what she did to Porn Shy. I felt like that was...
Oh, that one broke my heart because I loved him.
I loved him. I never liked her. I didn't like her in the first season she was in. Did you? Oh, I hated her.
She was a little entitled.
So much.
Why did you hate her?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So she was in the first season, right?
Yeah.
In the first season, I found her to be desperate. I found her to be clingy. I found her to be unlikable. Like, nothing about her made me like her.
Okay,
so that's the whole first season. And then in this one, here she has this opportunity to like learn additional skills, to bring it back to the White Lotus in Hawaii. And so she's there as a guest and she's learning. This is a very, very expensive trip that they've sent her on, which is amazing. But to me, she always comes off as a pick-me. Like, I just can't like her.
Oh yeah, she is very much a pick-me.
She is a pick-me.
Her character arc this season, though, just I wanted to. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
I was not. I thought she died potentially, and I was like,
wouldn't have been a big loss.
Oh. No, I would have been like, such is life. I've not liked her since season 1. I was actually bummed to see her in this one. Jennifer Coolidge, if she came back from the dead, if she wrote, I don't care if they had her as a fucking ghost in the trees with the monkeys. I would have been like, abso-fucking-lutely. Like, reincarnation, 100%. But Belinda, like, no. You could have brought back another character and I would have appreciated a lot more. I would have liked to see her.
Who they should have brought back? The assistant.
I was just going to say that. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like, have her have inherited some money or something from Jennifer Coolidge and she's traveling as an influencer, as whatever. I don't care. Have her. She was at least interesting. A mess, but interesting. Belinda, again, to me, she was just kind of monotone in character. I don't know. And using Porn Shy made me so upset for him. I couldn't.
I don't think she used him technically. She just discarded him.
What's the difference? If you use someone in your moment of need and then discard them, isn't that the same thing?
No, I think so.
Uh-oh.
I got to think about this one.
Yeah.
No, because I think she was open to it and she liked what we had.
She loved what we had. Piper, no.
Foodism.
Oh
my god, I'm gonna need a lorazepam after this episode.
Those are our kind of people.
Okay, but side note, we have to talk about how she just shut down Leslie Bibb when she was like, I know you. And she's like, oh.
I feel like that was so real, though. I don't know. Listen, I did 2 years in Texas, and it was so culturally different in the way that people communicate and the bless your heart of it all. To me, I was dying over some of this stuff because I'm like, this is what confused me when I lived down there. I'm like, do you hate me? Do you like me? Are you like secretly plotting my murder? Like, what's going on here? I can't read you because you're not telling me to go fuck myself to my face. So I don't know what's happening here. It was, it was so funny. So funny.
The conversation that followed was like something about her being an actress and like she's rich. She's like, not all rich people are good people or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, your husband's gonna try to kill you.
Okay, I feel like White Lotus has brass balls because they touched on politics, they touched on stereotypes. The Asian women with their old white husbands, Can I tell you, like, that is so I was watching that and we were dying. It is so common to go through different parts of Southeast Asia and to see those couples at those resorts. And I don't know. I thought it was very, very ballsy of them to be like, here it is, warts and all. And her asking that or telling that girl, she's like, come back to North Carolina. I can, hook you up with all these like rich, attractive guys. You don't need to be with him. And she's like, I actually love my boyfriend, husband, whatever he was. And she's like, huh?
Why? Why?
She was such a good character.
Does this mean, wait, do I need to go to North Carolina? Is that where all the handsome humans are?
I don't know. North Carolina, you let us know in the comments if Brittany needs to travel. Love is Blind, North Carolina. We will fly you down there. They did one. Did they? Well, then there you go. Were they?
Let me think. Were they attractive?
Yeah.
I think that was the season where the women were far more attractive. I think that was the season with the douchey dude. I mean, they all have douchey dudes. No, I think North Carolina was the one where the dude lied about being in the parking lot.
I have no frame of reference for this. House.
It was a big deal. Again, this goes back to location tracking.
Yeah.
He was tracked.
Wait, where's Southern Charm? Is that North Carolina?
The South? No.
It's North Carolina or South Carolina?
No,
it's one of the Carolinas.
Southern? Well, it has to be South Carolina because North Carolina would be Northern Charm, wouldn't it?
Do you know where the Mason-Dixon line is?
The East Coast?
Okay. North Carolina is the South. Just because they call it the North Carolinas doesn't make it the North. It's not in the North. It's in the South. Oh, Brittany. North Carolina is in the South. Honestly, Virginia is in the South. And I think Virginia would agree with me 100%. They are the South. If you travel up and down the East Coast, which a lot of us do.
But Virginia's by DC. It's like a quick little boop boop.
Yeah, DC is like Switzerland, and it separates the North from the South pretty much. Like, no, Virginia's South. It is old Southern money. It is Southern culture. It is South.
So North Carolina is this. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But also, you know how I am with geography. I'm awful with it.
Love it. Pennsylvania, North.
Yeah,
southern part of the North, but they're the North. Yeah. But the Carolinas, that's the South.
Interesting.
Georgia, South. Florida, South.
Oh, yeah, that I know. Yep.
Right, but they're all in a row. Yeah. North, South, Georgia, Florida. Like, that's how it goes.
Yeah, but when you put North in the name, I kind of just assume that's the line.
North, no.
Whatever. No. Oh, okay, now I get your comments about earlier. Never mind. I was like, weird. Like, she's from the North, obviously.
No. You think we talk like that? Have you ever heard me say, Brittany, no?
Actually, yes, I have. Just
not like that. I'm like, Brittany,
tone.
No! Again, we're way more staccato. We're super quick speakers up here. We don't, there's no drawl. There's no elongated vowels up here. That's why, like, no. Well, now we've learned something today. North Carolina is in the South.
I need a little the more you know to fly over my head.
The more you know. I'll see if I can. Well, I don't know. That might be copywritten somewhere. Who knows?
Fair point.
Who owns that? I don't know. The more
Reading
I know.
Rainbow?
Probably.
Or was it NBC? No, it was Reading Rainbow. More you know?
I can't imagine that. I don't know. Who knows? PBS? I don't know.
If you know, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. The more you know. Southern Charm is in the South, and I feel like one of the things they talk about regularly is the fact that the men definitely have the upper hand when it comes to like the social culture there. So when it comes to dating, they can churn through different women, and this is a stereotype. Obviously, everyone's not this way, but it's something that plays out in a lot of these shows. And so bringing that family from North Carolina, which is in the South, over there was interesting, but you do see the difference in the friends, right? Because you've got the friend who's in Texas, and you've got the friend in California, and then one is she in New York or is she also in California? Yeah, so they're in like, and obviously, let's be serious, California and New York are going to be more aligned than their friend who moved down south and really adopted a lot of that cultural component, which I thought was hilarious. I don't know, it was really well done. Were you surprised by the end?
No, not at all. Chelsea had a stay gold necklace on the entire time, and I'm like, stay gold, pony boy. You're too pure. And I think once you started to untangle, just the death of innocence was just she had to go. She was too pure. And then bad things come in threes. She almost died in the robbery, almost died with the snake bites. I'm like, third time's a charm. It's coming for you.
Monkeys were definitely a theme too, right? There's the
Yeah.
see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. There's the
Yep.
monkey on your back that they talk
Yep.
about, right? And then there's the monkeys obviously all around them all the
Hmm.
time. I thought more people were going to die at the end. I was actually hoping,
Interesting.
this sounds weird. I was hoping that there were more people lost at the end because I felt like it would have been more dramatic.
Mm.
I actually felt like the season ended a little bit softer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, it did. It
Right?
honestly did. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
wasn't as
surprised me.
chaotic as I was expecting. Um,
No.
which I don't know if I loved or hated. I loved seeing the transformation though. The weird thing to me is they were all very calm for having just gone through a murder at their resort. Like, we're on the boat the next day. It's totally fine.
Because I think they're
Um,
selfish. I think they're narcissistic and it played out again and again and again. Where
yeah.
people go on vacation to whatever country, they don't really want to experience the culture, right? You're
Yeah.
getting a very manufactured version of the culture, and then
Yeah.
you leave and you go back and you return to who you were. And I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what they
Except
did.
Lachlan, who didn't, because that version of Lachlan died. He saw God.
Yep.
And so he went from wearing his like cute little basic shirt, minding his own business, drinking a Coca-Cola,
Yep.
to drinking a suicide smoothie, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then
Jones
he's
counting it up.
rocking this like bougie Louis Vuitton sweater and his sunglasses, see no evil. The brother, his glasses are removed, reading a book because he's like aware. He's a lot more grounded, courtesy of sweet, sweet Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like that transformation. And then the sister, headphones are off because I think they really symbolized her not hearing or wanting to hear kind of the reality. She was like in her own world, and then she had to listen to what was going on. She had to listen to her mom. And so she finally actually heard what she was saying, and she acknowledged that, and she had this big kind of change.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really wanted to see him go broke though, man. I wanted to see their reaction.
I really thought they were going to actually show more. Like, I thought they were going to be reading the articles and be like, there's going to be more, right? Like, more drama at the end. And it felt like, how many people died? One main character died, and then like a bunch of.
It was everything happened in threes. Yeah, you had three groups of people.
Oh, sorry, I meant at the end.
You had the three deaths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had the dad, Rick, and Chelsea.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So again, I thought Belinda was going to die. I wasn't sad about it. Yeah. I thought there was going to be mass carnage. That's kind of how they showed it in the beginning, right? You see like body floating in the water, and you hear a lot of gunshots. And yeah, there were multiple murders, but I thought it was going to be much more dramatic. I also, again, thought there was going to be a lot more drama when the family starts seeing what would be a flood of texts, calls, social media posts, like emails, everything, headlines, whatever. And it was really just kind of like nothing.
Yeah, and at one point the son looks at his phone and then just looks back at the dad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, he would have had so many messages by then.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Also, okay, so when they show Piper and her mom buying things, I think all of their cards and assets would have already been seized at that
100%. I'm like, how did they pay for this?
Okay, same exact thing. I was like, there's no world, because let's be serious. They're not paying with like cash. They're paying with digital currency. That's what most people do, especially at a resort like that. That's part of the perks, is that they'll be set up to be able to take that. It would have been more dramatic to me if she went to pay and she was like,
it's declined.
What's going on? No, Piper, no. Like, no. What's going on? Like, all because you're a Buddhist. Like, it would have been more dramatic than that. Yeah. There should have been something there. So the fact they were able to actually still purchase anything, I feel like was a little bit of an oversight.
Yeah.
I mean, because how long were they there for? Is it a week?
5 days. Like 5 days a week, something like that. You know whose character I liked, but I think has thrown a lot of people for a loop, but I'm like, it was actually really well done.
Okay.
The main manager of the hotel.
That, again, to me, was like a loose end. I don't feel like they finished with him.
In theory, but no. So what I loved was, I think a lot of people were like, what was his point? Like, why was he doing all of this?
Yeah.
And then when I kind of took a step back and looked at it, he was useless. And so, so what was her name? Sritala? I can never pronounce it. Mm-hmm. She very much was just like, yep, do this. And he was like, okay, sure. He was kind of frazzled. He just existed. And I think that was kind of his point. He wasn't important to her. He wasn't important to anyone. Yeah. He wanted to be. So when he had his moment to try and be important to perform, he was like, will you please come watch? Any advice? She's like, just go do it. He was like, okay, cool. And he had his moment, but nobody was there. Nobody paid attention to him. But I think that's kind of it. He was meant to not have any kind of focus. So I think he was kind of a decoy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, to me, he was almost like a less in your face Belinda. I mean, that's where I put her too. I just, again, I feel like she's a plot convenience, and I don't feel like she deserved main character energy from
Fair.
the show. He
That's
definitely
fair.
didn't either. But yeah, it's true. I mean, he was definitely sniveling and very much pick me as well, and very much, just kind of swinging his power around when he had it in like rare moments. But overall,
Yeah.
really served no purpose other than to serve.
Yeah. I feel like we're kind of coming towards the end here, but one person I do want to touch on is just the poor arc that is Guy Talk. I love the guard. What kills me about him was the fact that he went through that entire shift because of Mook, right? Like, when you think about how he knew Valentine and his friends were the robbers, he knew it. He wanted to report it. He wanted to do the right thing. But you know why he didn't? And it was very explicit. Valentine said, if you do this, you're killing me. You are killing me. He didn't have it in him. He would rather quit his job than even proverbially kill someone.
Yeah.
But when he told Mook he couldn't do it, he was going to quit. Everyone's like, no, you're a good guard. Like, it's cool. He was struggling with that. Just his moral compass was so strong. But as soon as it was like, no, do it. The big boss tells you to do it. You'll impress Mook. You'll get this promotion if you do it. No hesitation there. It was just, it was all for her, man.
Yeah. It was sad. He had a great character. He had a sad story, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Again, well played. Didn't like Mook. Could have done without her, but she was essential to the plot. If you could choose one character from season 3 to be in season 4, who would it be?
Can I bring Chelsea back from the dead?
Not unless we can bring Jennifer Coolidge back.
Maybe it's just the afterlife. Bring one person back. Whose character do I want to see evolve?
Or turn into more of a villain.
Ooh, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure Gary's going to be back at some point. Like, he doesn't die. Gary's like a cockroach that keeps coming back.
Who do I have a hard time if they brought him back again. I'm going to be honest.
I don't think anyone from the family's coming back because they're too poor to be there. Unless they're broke. My favorite are the memes comparing them to Schitt's Creek.
Oh my God. Like, okay, I think everybody, the first time you see Parker Posey, you were like, that is the next Moira. 100%. Like, so good. And again, amazing actresses, both of them. But yeah, very, very comparable.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet we'll probably see Belinda again, honestly, now that she's bald. She's probably going to go on a vacation somewhere. I think they have to do something in the mountains this time because they've done beaches. I think they're due for a mix-up. They've done Europe. They've done Southeast Asia. They've done the U.S.
Maybe cold weather. I'm tired of the sun.
I'm ready for I need the mountains. I need the snow. I think it'll be wintry. It's such a good murdery setup for sure. City.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Real Housewives.
Oh my God. They could do Canada though.
I think I could see like Lake Louise.
Banff.
Yep. Yeah. Or they could do
Switzerland.
That's another option.
That could be interesting.
That could have been Japan also if they decide to kind of renegotiate. But I'm trying to think of where else there would be. Maybe Africa. Maybe like a
country in Africa.
Yeah. Somewhere out there, maybe. We'll see.
I want it to be interesting. I want it to be off the beaten path. To me, ultimate luxury is someplace that is inaccessible. And again, I'm not saying this is right, but inaccessible to most people. And that's what I'm talking about with like Thailand being so accessible. I'm like, meh, no, up it. But they've chosen very accessible places, right? Like Hawaii, Italy, Thailand. Let's go someplace really deep into wherever. Again, luxury all the way, but make it more interesting. I don't know. But what character are you bringing back?
I'm probably gonna go with. I think I want to see Carrie Coon figure her life out. I don't even know her character name.
See if I can find her name. Who was she? It's so bad. I'm so bad with these names.
Yeah, the friend group are the ones that I can't remember. Everybody else I have pretty dialed in.
No, names are not my strong suit. Okay, so she was Lori.
I would want to see. I want to see her arc kind of continue because she has nothing. Like she's got her kid. She's got her job didn't work out. Like nothing is working out well for her. I need her to take a second vacation and just eat, pray, love it, and maybe die because someone always has to die.
Eat, pray, die.
Like, yeah, dope. I love that for her.
I think that would be a good one. I would definitely watch if she were in it. I think for me, I want Parker Posey to have taken money and like one of two things. Take money from an offshore account, go live your best life while your husband is in and out of prosecution.
Okay.
Because that's what you do, right?
Well, she comes from money, I think was her other thing.
For sure. Like maybe her family has a home in Switzerland. And so she's taking herself for a weekend at a spa resort. Who knows? Okay. Whatever. So I want her to come back that way. Or her husband dies and she remarries. Money again, of course. And off she goes.
Kill the dad. I like Zaddy.
He made bad choices.
He was trying to help someone, which I think
Was
also.
he though?
So here's okay, but hold on. That was meant to mirror what Lachlan did. As gross as that was, he was very much a people pleaser because when you think about it, there's some correlation there because the dad on the phone call said, "I did this one time to help you. I felt bad for you."
But don't you think that was him not assuming responsibility though? Because I feel like in both cases, you cannot say, "I did this for you." Yeah. And it be just that's it.
No, for sure. But I think that just shows the parallel between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though the other brother is like, I am you, everything I do is you, they're very different people.
Oh, right? He is his mom. Yeah, he's a male version of his mom.
Exactly.
Whereas I think that's why the dad was like, Lockie, could you live with nothing? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I bet you could. And I think there was an element of the dad where, again, as powerful, whatever, as rich as he was, there was an element of somewhere deep in there, like some sort of humility where he could have lived with nothing. And it was the thought of his family not being able to live with anything that actually destroyed him.
Well, they said they were going to all die. He's like, well, if you're going to die, I can't handle. Like, he wanted to be the provider. And if he can't, he's like, well, Jonestown, here we come.
100%. But no, I would totally bring back Parker Posey. Like, I want her to come back. To me, her character's so good. It's too good to let it die in season 3.
I agree.
I mean, we need her back. Well, I'm curious to see what happens in season 4. I would assume it comes out maybe in a year and a half, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what schedule they're on, but all right. Well, thanks for joining us on this little chat through season 3 of White Lotus. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and we release new episodes every Wednesday. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.